Good morning, or whenever you're watching this. Thank you for joining the Well House podcast. We have Adrian Lindeen on with us, and we are going to talk about her book, Guts, Grit, and Glory, and her whys. And I am Danielle Barber with Texas Classic Insurance, and we have Johnny Wells with the Wells Inspection Group.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How are y'all doing? We're finally back. We've been taking a break over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah,
something like that.
It's been a nice break.
It has.
Yeah.
Any break away from me is good, I'm sure. I wish I could do it, but
Except
unfortunately, everywhere I go, there I am.
Except for I plan to have breakfast with you every Friday.
Well, you skipped this Friday, so that's on you.
I did. I had a hard money closing that they needed insurance ASAP. Happens.
It happens.
It's always, they're always the last minuters.
Yes, yeah. I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. It still hurts, but I understand.
We have a big networking group that we've been running for over 4 years now, and we meet for breakfast every Friday morning. And it's very low-key networking. You don't have to dress businessy. You can roll up in your pajamas if you want after you drop off your kids.
I've shown up in shorts and T-shirts and just whatever.
Yeah. So it's literally just we're going to talk about what's going on in the industry. If anybody needs some help or tips or whatever, we kind of share at that table and kick off the weekend, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, Adrian, we will get started into the interview. Hey. We are here with Adrian Lindeen, living like Lindeen, and she has written a book, Guts, Grit, and Glory, and we'll put a little snippet of this later on so you can see it a little better.
We can also include ways that people can purchase.
Absolutely, said book. It's on Amazon. So I've been reading the book. My daughter actually has been reading the book at her own whim. I did not coerce her to read the book. She's really enjoying it. So tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write your book.
Wow. Well, first, thanks for having me on. I'm super excited to be here with y'all. So I was almost, 18 years ago, I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and went through that whole ordeal of chemo and all that. And when I came out of it, a lot of people wanted me to talk to, I was coaching high school at the time. I was in college, and people just said, man, your attitude about everything was just so positive. Would you talk to this youth group? You've got to share your story. Oh my gosh. And so from there, I felt, like I wanted to share this story with everybody, but it just kind of wasn't the right timing, kind of, well, who am I? And, how do you even write a book? And, just kind of all that stuff. And so fast forwarding into the journey of how I found entrepreneurship, I actually was reading a 5-year vision plan I had written in 2016. And it was on my vision board to become a #1 best-selling author, to write a book. And so as I'm been on this journey and aligning myself with, mentors and other people in this industry, they're like, girl, you've got to share this. You've got to put your words on paper and just share a lot of what you've gone through to get to where you are. Because a lot of people see, I want to say, they see the glory and they don't see, what it took to kind of get where you are in life. And so I wanted to show everybody the good, the bad, the ugly, and show them it's not all rainbows and unicorns when you're set out and have a vision for yourself to hit goals or pivot and change completely off course of what you were doing to go after, kind of the things that you want out of life. And so I just really wanted it to be totally real, raw, honest, and, all of the things, right? So that people can see, you know what, I can get through this, whatever it is I'm facing. I can do this. I can overcome. I can continue to push after my visions, after my goals, because it's not going to be easy. And so that's kind of what pushed me to want to really write this. I had a goal of writing it and being done by my 40th birthday. Just kind of something on my, my goal board. So yeah, that's kind of what compelled me to want to write this book, get it out there, because there's so many people that struggle thinking they're the only ones who are facing this challenge, or, as we all have our own lives, people just don't understand like behind the scenes of really kind of what everybody else goes through. So I really wanted to share that. And my only goal was, A, you have accomplished enough if you just even write a book and get it out there.
Absolutely.
And then B, I just wanted to impact one life. If I could impact one life, that was my goal. So
I think you're going to impact a lot of lives.
I mean, it's motivation through reality.
Absolutely.
Basically. Yeah.
One of my biggest takeaways so far is there's a cliche that people say knowledge is power, and I'm going to summarize because I don't remember the exact quote, but basically you said, but only if you utilize it, only if you do something with that knowledge. And I think that's a big part of what people are missing out on. They consume all the knowledge, they consume it, and they just hold it. They don't ever go through the process, the work, and put in to actually implement what their real goal was with that knowledge. So I'd say that was probably one of the most powerful quotes that I've read so far in the book. I'm on like chapter 5, I think.
Mine had to be broken down into smaller segments because I have OCD. So it's not like I could take on a whole lot. It's like I just get overwhelmed. I mean, I'll sit at home, and it was driving me crazy that this book on the table here was crooked. I will have to organize. Don't do that. I have to organize things. They have to be symmetric if it's within my view. So I mean, it's to write a book, it would like be reading a Dr. Seuss book backwards. I just don't think I could do it.
It was a lot for me. And Danielle, you'll see as you read towards the end, because I included everything that was happening when I was trying to finish up and launch this book. And I mean, I'm not, I wouldn't call myself a writer, right? Like but I'm total squirrel brain, right? ADD. So sitting down and like putting these words out there sucked out a lot of my brain power, and it would suck my energy. And not only that, but as I'm sharing each story or chapter, you're reliving that moment. And so I'm sitting there crying as I'm writing these things and kind of re-going through, like putting myself back into that space.
Some emotions, yeah.
So at the time, and here's another thing, the devil, Satan, wants to take away from you when you are on a path of making an impact. You're on a path of changing lives, like you guys are here on your podcast, right? Like, and so there's going to be things that come up in your life, and it could be financial, it could be a car breaking down, it could be whatever, to take you off that path, because the devil doesn't want you to have that impact and shine your brightness out there. And so many things happened once I started writing this book. It was like I had a plague, a dark cloud over my life. And there was a moment where I said, I can't finish this. Like, I emotionally can't pour into this book like I want to pour into it. And, thank goodness I have such great people in my circle. And, one of my friends kind of gave me a huge kick in the ass, and it's like, oh no, I am not going to let you do this. You've got to get this out. That means you've got to get it out even more so, because it's going to make such an impact. But I mean, we had family deaths. We had, 2 in the same day. We had family deaths within 3 days. There was just so many things. My husband lost his job, just all this stuff. And it was like, one of our friends, my business partner's husband, was on a ventilator and in induced coma, in ICU. I mean, it was just like everything was crashing down. And so as it was super hard to get back in there finish things up and actually make sure that my readers were going to get out of it what I wanted to get out of it. But I put my big girl pants back on, finished it, got through it, but I shared all of that stuff in there because as you're ascending or, you're wanting to do what you want to, what it is that you want to do and a vision for yourself, things are going to come up to try and stop you. And
Absolutely.
It's all part of it. It's part of the weeding out process, so to say. Do you have what it really takes? And there's only a small percentage of people that will continue to move forward despite everything that life throws them when they're on that road. So
I love it. I love it. And you're so right. I was thinking, I had that same thought process in college because so much happens each semester that would kind of really delay your path of, trying to pursue college and finish up everything. There were so many reasons to not finish, to help out the family, to go help get a job and support and blah, blah, blah. But actually following through is super important. So you were a teacher and coach in the high school level, and then you left and went into what?
So yeah, I was at the time when I left, I was an assistant principal, a high school assistant principal. I was still in charge of my PE department, so I was still coaching. I was still teaching one period, and I was coaching. I was coaching volleyball, and so I was doing all the things. I was involved highly, and as I was, this time I couldn't help but think, gosh, is this really it? Like, is this it to life? Is this going to be my every single year for the next 20 years? I don't know that I can do what I'm doing for the next 20 years because as I moved up in, the ranks, I guess, so to speak, from teacher to, being heads of committee and wanting to make more money, which is why I went back and got my master's so I could become an assistant principal. It's funny, you go and you go into more debt to make more money. Like, I don't even know how that works, right? But I really was burnt out because I was kind of the yes person. And, if someone wanted something done, they knew, just pass it off to me and I would do it. And I saw a lot of the negative side of education, and my days were consumed with the negative side. And I remember my purpose for wanting to go up further was to make a bigger impact, to be a voice for the students. That was always my goal. That's the whole reason I got into teaching. And I felt so far removed from that because of all the negative stuff we dealt with. We had, drugs on campus and, sex trafficking gangs, and we had a daycare facility for our students' kids. And, it's just this, I was like, wow. So I had seen a girlfriend online, who I went to high school with, and she also was an athlete. She was one of the top pitchers in the nation in high school and ended up going and playing at Oklahoma. And I saw that she started this side business, and I then started watching, and I saw how fast she had, earned this bonus and got, a car bonus and all these things. And I'm like, okay, wow. Like, she's an athlete, and here's the whole relatable thing. If she can do it, I can do it, right? And so, when it comes to on social media, if I had not seen that kind of journey of her starting and then how already in 3 months she had made, more than she was making in her regular job, so I was like, well, if she could do it, I can do it. So I got interested. I reached out. I wasn't so excited about skincare because I was an athlete. I didn't take care of my skin. I went to sleep with my makeup on, woke up, and just went about my day. But it was the vehicle. It was the vehicle that I saw that could get me from where I was now to what I wanted. And at the time, I was spending, we were spending $1,800 a month for childcare. I never got to take my kids to school. I dropped one of them, I dropped one at daycare, but we had before and after school care for my daughter in kindergarten. And I felt like I was so exhausted after the week. I would go home, and the weekends were spent catching up on life, laundry, grocery shopping. It wasn't spent living life and experiencing and all these things. And I just kind of had to evaluate, like, what do I really want for my kids? I want to be present. I don't want someone else raising them. I want to take them to school. I want to pick them up. I want to hear about their day. And, I want to give them experiences in life versus things, vacations, or what's their visions? What do they want to start checking off? And so this entrepreneurship, or this vehicle, I mean, my eyes just lit up. I had a whole new vision of what I wanted, and so I jumped in, and I failed miserably.
That's
But
okay.
I don't want to say miserably. I did all the things that I was told to do, and it just wasn't the right strategy for me. And so I continued. That's just kind of who I am, always reaching up. So I would connect with a new leader. Like, I would go into another training. Like, how can I get better? How can I get better to make this work? And as the more I got involved there, the more passionate and the more persistent I became at wanting to make this work. Not just for my vision, but if you're going to tell me I can't do something, it's kind of been like the motto of my whole life. I'm going to prove you wrong. And so I wanted to prove the naysayers wrong. And I also wanted to show people that anybody can do this. You just have to find what works for you, right? So I struggled with, like I said, the strategies, and I ended up finding an online community, because I was like, because my husband at the time was like, you need to, I'm going to give you a time frame. If you haven't generated enough income by then, you need to go back to the classroom. And I was like, hell no. I was seriously like crying. I'm like, you want me to just be so unhappy, because I had lost my purpose for that calling. And I felt that what I was doing was still teaching and coaching other people. It just wasn't in the education form. So at the time, we decided to move back to Texas. And, we were in a great spot in life. We had paid off all of our debt. We were making a really good income. And we were able to start putting money into savings. And this had been a while, but this was the climb of, the 9 to 5, right? And my husband's business was doing really well. And so of course, I'm that positive thinker. Like, don't worry, I'll get hired when we move. I'll get another job, because I knew I would still have to transition, get a job while I'm still building this thing on the side. So we moved, bought our dream home, and I didn't get hired anywhere. And I mean, I had incredible recommendations from superintendents, principals. And so I remember, okay, well, that just means I have more time to put into my side business. And next thing you know, month after month, money starts draining, nothing coming in on my end, and we're now in a position of, we need to sell this house because we literally don't have anything to, whatever. And I'm over here like, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work. We ended up having to sell the house. And to me, it was just, I felt like a failure. I felt like I put my family in this position, and I was so, sad.
Yeah.
I was disappointed in myself. I felt like my husband was disappointed in me, that I had done this to him. Like, he didn't ask for this, all that stuff. And, I'm a firm believer that things happen for you and not to you, but you don't necessarily see it at the time. So we ended up selling our home and moving down the street and renting. And I ended up looking and searching online. Like, there has to be a better way to build this business. Like, how can I use the internet? I started seeing people get all these results. Like, they were replacing their teacher's salary in a month. I mean, holy crap. And I don't want to be pushing my business on my neighbors and my family and my friends. Like, I know that you can build it without having to do that. So I found this online community where they were teaching entrepreneurs how to build their businesses online, brand yourself, get your website up and, all the things. And we invested everything we had from selling our home into mentorship and into learning. And I like to maybe think about it as like, more like an online university, because you're like really going back and getting a degree on how to do all this stuff. Right. And I'm not a tech person. So I knew I needed help with that. I needed mentorship. I needed to grow myself. Whoops, sorry. I needed to grow myself, get past some of my limiting beliefs, get judgment out so that I can step forward and grow and lean into the person that I know that I can become. And I got in on that journey, and within 11 months, I had created and built a following of over 20,000 people and built a six-figure business. And then slowly was able to start like getting ourselves out of the hole we had put ourselves in. And so it's been exciting from there. From there, I don't know if you want me to keep going. But
no, that's awesome. That's really cool. I love how you've taken all of your trials and turned them into positive things and great learning experiences. That's awesome.
There's many battles during life. I mean, it's not just
right.
Life is not just one war. You're going to fight almost daily for something.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think of everything throughout this journey has set me up for the next phase. So I had really tough coaches when I was playing sports, specifically my club volleyball coach. Super tough, but taught me discipline, like mind over matter. Just, that alone helped me get through, some of those tough times were there. But I feel like that ultimately set me up to get me through my cancer. And then going through my cancer journey gave me a new appreciation of life, a second chance. What are you going to do with it? What impact are you going to make with it? How can you pay this forward? So then that's actually where I realized my purpose. I didn't know exactly specifically what that purpose was, but I knew I was saved for a reason, that I had to do something with that. And so then going through that journey is what set me on the path to the next phase. Right. And then going through being a teacher and all those things really is what made it clear for me that this isn't what my purpose is. Like, I still have something greater. Right. So it's almost like these stepping stones, so to speak.
You're not there yet. Keep going. You're not there yet.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel the same way about kind of falling into my career. Like, I took selling a tube of lipstick at $25 a piece into being an insurance broker, and against my husband's.
I can see the correlation.
It's a total jump. Like, Mike was very anti, you are not going to be a commission-based employee. You work in education, you've got a steady salary, all the logical things that an engineer thinks. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, I mean, thanks for the tips, but I'm going to go ahead and do this. You know, it's worked out well for me. Like, I truly feel like I'm where I am supposed to be. I love what I do. I love that I get to help people. And I love that I get to, the big one for me is I get to put my kid first. Yeah. I get to take my kid to school. When I was in education, my kid was never first. Everybody else's kids are in front of your kids. Mm-hmm. So I put her on the bus at 6:30 in the morning, and I wouldn't see her until 5:30 in the afternoon or 6 whenever I came home from work. And that was as a mom, that sucks. It really fucking sucks. So, yeah, I can relate to you totally on I want to put my kids first. Like, with my job, if Emma's got something at school, I'm taking the day off, and my bosses are like, cool, have a great time. Yeah. It's nice. It's nice that I'm actually in like a family friendly industry where everybody is true, like genuinely everybody is like, no, your family comes first. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
And that's the way it should be.
For sure.
Yeah. I think it's cool. Awesome. So any other questions?
No, because unfortunately, like I said earlier, I don't know if it was recorded or not, but Danielle didn't give me the name of the book, so I wasn't able to. No, she didn't. I wasn't able to read the book in order to give a proper book report today. I apologize for that, but again, we will guts, grit, and glory. We will definitely be back here shortly with some more information on how any listeners can, all 7 or 10 of y'all, I don't know how many now, but would like to get a copy of it.
Yeah, you can find it on Amazon, or you can also go to guts, grit, and the word and glorybook.com, and you can find it there. And then I have a Facebook group you can get into from there if you'd like. So you can definitely go to that website or go straight to Amazon. However,
I feel like anybody that's either in sales or that's reached a stagnant point in their life should read it. Like, it's so far, like anybody in any sort of sales at all, I think could benefit from this book, or anybody that just needs a swift kick in the ass.
Or both.
Yes. You're on chapter 5. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
And I'm just a real tell it like it is type person, because I've had really tough coaches, and I feel like too many times there's fluff. Like, I don't want to hurt someone's feelings and whatever, but you need to tell people straight up. Like, people need to hear some of the hard truths, not because you're trying to be mean, but it's because it's better for them. It's going to help them, come out better on the other side. So, like I said, didn't hold anything back.
I love that.
Good.
I love that. I'm the same way. We're cut from the same cloth in that sort of way. Like,
Yeah.
I'm very, let's just rip this Band-Aid off and put it out there. We can figure out how to handle it if we do that.
Yep.
So, big fan. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. And we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be interviewed by us. Be sure to like and subscribe down below, and we will see you next time.
Thank y'all.
Bye. Thank you.